Post-patch has seen some changes to the 4-4-2. Today, we are bringing you our custom tactics and instructions and telling you how to get the best out of this formation. Let's jump into it. So we are taking a look at the normal 4-4-2 here. This is how I have it set up in game. Mbappe at left striker, Neymar at right striker, and we'll talk about the role that he plays in this 4-4-2. Your typical wingers in Salah and Vinicius Jr., Sissoko, De Bruyne in the middle. Now, I am still playing left footers and right footers on the left and then on the right. And the reason for this is simply that we used to obviously run down the line and then cut in and then look for that Trivela. That's what we wanted to go for originally. We can still do that with players that do have the outside of the boot trait. It is still possible, but they're not as good, but still an option. The main reason why we have this left player on the left and the right player on the right in Vinicius and Salah is for the simple fact of we are going to run towards the byline and then look for that sweat off across quite a lot in this 4-4-2. And having the strong foot to be able to drill that ball off across is still better. If you do, however, though, prefer having your left player on the right-hand side to cut in and look for the finesse, feel free to give that a go if you want to. It is a hard and quote rule that we have to follow with this, but it is an option. So the 4-4-2, how are we going to have this set up? Defensive style, I talk about this a lot in all of our videos. This is a 4-4-2 that I will start the game with, so I won't run my usual press on possession loss or press on heavy touch. A lot of players are running this right now, and obviously all it does is it just allows you to press the opponent, you know, when you lose the ball or when the opponent takes that heavy touch. However, for most of you, running that from minute one, it drains more stamina and it makes it a little bit easier for the opponent sometimes to break through on the counter. If you don't win the ball on that press, you are in trouble. So running balanced on here is going to be our best friend for now. If you get to the 60th minute in the game though, and you're going, I'm losing, it's 2-1, obviously change this to press on possession loss. And then as the game goes on, use team press on the D-pad or even constant pressure. Now, when it comes to our width, this is something that I've been speaking about a little bit more recently, where I used to run 40 width pretty much as a whole. We're going to run with 45 here. And the reason for this, I spoke about it in our last tactics video, is simply that a lot of people right now are playing in this area down in the wings, right? So I don't want to be so wide, because what this does is basically it makes the gap between your left back and your left centre back, right centre back and right back, bigger the more that you make it wider. So there's more room for the opponent to run through the middle. There's more gaps in that middle, but then obviously you've got your fullback sitting close to that touchline. For me, 45, 50 width is about right. I wouldn't want to go any more than that because it really does allow too much gaps between the centre backs, but I'm running 45 right now in this 4-4-2. And depth is also something that we've been speaking about quite a lot recently. It's an interesting one, right? Because a lot of people pre-patch were running 71 depth pretty comfortably and we're happy with it because, you know, you have a higher line when the opponent has the ball. And then occasionally when the ball's in and around the 18-yard box, when you run 71 depth or higher, your team will step up and do that automatic offside trap. It can be a little bit risky, but it can work. Now, the issue that you have is that if you got it wrong pre-patch, the way that explosive and control players didn't really break away, you could recover pretty well. Right now, if you get dusted, you have got dusted the majority of the time, and the opponent breaks through with ease. So 65 depth has been what's good for me. For those of you on old gen, I always say this, you're more than happy to just run this in and around 50 if you want to. 65 though, the reason why I like this is because it's not going to sit our defensive line here all the time. If the opponent runs forward runs and direct passing, your defenders will drop back. You know, they will kind of go in towards that area. But they try to hold this line a little bit higher. What does that mean? It means the gap between our two centre mids and the two centre backs is as minimal as possible. This little area here, in between the lines, that's where you want to try and protect at all times. You want to stop the opponent getting the ball into their centre attacking mid, which obviously is a pretty common formation in the 4-2-3-1 right now. Now for our build-up play with a 4-4-2, for me, the way I like to play up in this build-up with the 4-4-2, which works incredibly well, is to get the ball out to here and here when you receive it in your own half, the left back and right back. Carry it forward 10 to 15 yards, get the ball out to your winger, see if you can then look for that pass into the striker, and then work your way over if not. That's how I like to play the 4-4-2. Build-up play on balance allows you to do that. If you run like long ball, fast build-up, it's a little bit too aggressive. The 4-2-2 suits that a little bit better for me. I like to play a little bit more neutral in this formation. For our chance creation, though, we are going to go with something that we've played a lot this year, which is direct passing. And this is basically just saying to your two strikers, or the wingers as well, when you get into this final third here, can we penetrate in behind that defensive line? Now, what this will do is it actually will push the opponent's line a little bit deeper into their 18-yard box. So what I'd really encourage you to do from there is to work in and around the byline, look for the cutback across, look for your outside the box shots with finesse shots, power shots, trivela shots. If you can green time them, they are still an option. And now for our width. Width is something that I've been tinkering with a little bit more. Like I said earlier on, a lot of people are playing down the wings. I think the 4-4-2 is pretty decent in itself at having a good amount of width, but also being able to play through the middle. What I would encourage you to do in the 4-4-2 is to, when you're building up, right, if you can't find that drill pass into the striker and then the 1-2s and then in behind, I really encourage you to basically play like this. Zigzag up and down the pitch. Constantly keep moving it up and down. And then when you get into this area, instead of going back up, you might come back over from the way that you came and keep playing the ball like that. That's how the 4-2-2 works really well. Now we have 6 players in box. That's kind of been a staple for me this year. It's what I've been really enjoying. This encourages men inside the box. And if you are working it into this area, to be able to look for a cutback across into that 6-yard box area, you need to have numbers there. The more numbers that you have, it makes it easier to find someone, and 6 allows you to do that. We have made a change recently. We have gone onto 2 corners rather than 3. Corners for me, I'm struggling to find a routine that really works. I used to run 3 because I had a routine that was fantastic and I really, really liked it. But now, I'm not really finding as much joy with them. So instead, I've gone to 2 because I was getting caught on the counter a little bit more often than I would like. If you want to elevate your FIFA game and take it to that next level, you can get one-to-one coaching, squad reviews, and access to multiple videos to help you get better at FIFA. You can join our Patreon page starting from £4 per month. A link is in the description. Now, to round it off with our player instructions for our left striker, Mbappe, stay forward, get in behind. This is just your quick striker, whoever it may be for you. You're one that has that blistering pace. Now, Neymar, I don't like at striker. I prefer him at cam, right? That's his best position for me. However, in this 4-4-2, I almost play it a little bit like a cam role for Neymar within that false 9. That false 9 position is basically just going to say to him, we are going to drop into here when receiving the ball. What that then can do is you can trigger your left striker to look in behind and over the top. But he doesn't do that all the time, which is why the false 9 works. If you have a traditional striker here, just leave them on stay forward. I wouldn't run both of the players on getting behind. You want your quickest striker on getting behind, and then your more, just average striker just on stay forward, and leave that unbalanced if you wanted to. But I'll just run false 9 on Neymar. For our left mid and right mid, I don't do any player instructions. They are completely unbalanced. For our right centre mid, it's on cover centre. A left centre mid, which is just your holding DM. I don't mind, if it's the other way around. Sissoko, stay back while attacking in cover centre. And then your fullback on stay back while attacking as well. If you're still struggling to hit the higher ranks in Foot Champs, click this video here, which will take you over and give you some tips that you need to take on board to go ahead and hit that next rank.